Marcus Chen slammed his fist on the restaurant table so hard, the wine glasses jumped. Every head in Romano's turned to watch as tears streamed down his face, not from anger, but from something far more powerful. The woman across from him, the one his coworkers had set him up with as a cruel joke, sat frozen with her purse clutched to her chest. But Marcus wasn't walking away. Instead, he did something that would change 3 lives forever, and make 2 office bullies wish they'd never been born. Before we continue, tell us what city you're watching from. We love seeing how far these stories reach. Marcus Chen checked his phone for the 8th time in 5 minutes. His hands were shaking. Not the subtle tremor of nervousness, the full-body shake of a man who hadn't been on a date in 6 years. 6 years since Christina walked out. 6 years of being both mom and dad to Emma. 6 years of convincing himself he was fine alone. "You look like you're about to throw up, man." Marcus glanced up. The waiter, barely 25, stood there with a water pitcher and a knowing smile. "That obvious? Brother, I've seen guys propose with less sweat on their foreheads. First date. First date in a long time. She worth it?" Marcus opened his mouth, then closed it. He didn't know how to answer that. He'd never actually met her. Just seen her around the office, quiet, kept to herself, always ate lunch at her desk. When Derek and Brad from accounting told him they knew someone perfect for him, he'd been skeptical. But 6 years was a long time to be alone. "I hope so," Marcus finally said. The waiter filled his glass. "Advice? Just breathe. And maybe stop checking your phone every 30 seconds. Makes you look desperate." "I am desperate." "Yeah, but she doesn't need to know that yet." Marcus laughed despite himself. He tucked his phone away and tried to control his breathing. The restaurant smelled like garlic and fresh bread. Couples sat at candlelit tables. Families laughed in corner booths. Normal people living normal lives. When had his life stopped being normal? The door opened. Marcus knew it was her immediately. Sarah Mitchell from the 4th floor. She stood in the doorway, her eyes scanning the restaurant with the look of someone who expected to be disappointed. She was heavier than the women in magazines, sure, but that wasn't what Marcus noticed first. He noticed the way she held her purse like a shield. The way her shoulders hunched slightly inward. The way she took a deep breath before stepping inside like she was preparing for battle. He stood up, knocked over his water glass in the process. "Shit, sorry." He grabbed napkins, mopping up the spill while the waiter rushed over. "Smooth," the waiter muttered, helping him. Sarah approached slowly. "Marcus." "Yes, hi. Sorry about the—" He gestured helplessly at the wet table. "I'm not usually this coordinated." "It's okay." Her voice was soft, almost apologetic. Why was she apologizing? "Thank you for inviting me." "Thank you for saying yes. Please sit." She did carefully, like she was afraid the chair might collapse. Marcus caught the waiter's eye, and the young man discreetly brought a towel, wiping down the rest of the table before disappearing. "So," Sarah said. She wasn't looking at him. She was looking at her hands folded on the table. "This is nice." "Yeah, I hope you like Italian." "I probably should have asked first. Brad said you mentioned once that you liked pasta, so I thought—" "Brad told you that?" Something in her voice made Marcus pause. A note of something. Suspicion. Fear. "He said you and some of the girls from accounting went to that place on 5th Street, and you really enjoyed it." Sarah's face went pale. "Brad told you about that lunch. Just that you liked Italian food. Is that wrong? I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this. I haven't dated since my divorce, and I'm probably overthinking everything." "Your divorce?" Sarah's hands tightened on the table. "How long ago?" 6 years. My daughter was 4. She's 10 now." "You have a daughter?" "Emma. She's my whole world." Marcus pulled out his phone without thinking, showing Sarah his lock screen. Emma at her 5th grade graduation, gap-toothed smile, holding her certificate like a trophy. "This is from last month. She won an award for Best Science Project. Built a volcano that actually worked." I was terrified she'd burn down the gym. For the first time, Sarah smiled. Small but genuine. She's beautiful. She's a handful. Smart as hell. Sorry, smart as heck. Smarter than me, definitely. Keeps me on my toes. What happened with her mom? The question was direct. Marcus appreciated that. No dancing around it. Christina left when Emma was 4. Said she wasn't ready for motherhood. Wasn't ready for the suburbs and PTA meetings and being tied down. She wanted to travel, see the world, find herself. He shrugged. Last I heard, she was in Thailand teaching English. Sends Emma a birthday card every year. Never calls. I'm sorry. Don't be. Emma and I are good. Better than good. We're a team. He paused. What about you? Ever been married? No. Sarah's smile faded. Never really got close. Why not? If you don't mind me asking. She looked at him then. Really looked at him. Her eyes were searching for something: mockery, judgment, pity. Marcus kept his expression open, honest. Because guys don't usually ask girls who look like me out on dates, she said quietly. Unless it's a joke. The words hit Marcus like a punch to the gut. Sarah. It's okay. I know what I am. I've made peace with it. What you are is a human being who deserves respect and kindness, just like anyone else. She laughed, but it was bitter. That's a nice thing to say. It's not a nice thing to say. It's just true. The waiter appeared. Folks, can I start you with some drinks? Maybe an appetizer. Give us a minute, Marcus said, not taking his eyes off Sarah. You got it. When they were alone again, Marcus leaned forward. Sarah, I'm going to be straight with you because I think you deserve that. Derek and Brad set this up. They told me they had a friend who might want to have coffee, maybe dinner. They said you were nice and that we might hit it off. That's all I knew coming here. I didn't know it was you from the office until I saw Derek's text this morning with your name. They set this up. Sarah's voice went flat. Yeah. Did they say anything else? Marcus thought back to the conversation in the break room 3 days ago. Derek laughing, Brad elbowing him. She's perfect for you, man. Trust us. You won't be disappointed. The way they'd exchanged looks, the way they'd walked away snickering. Oh, God. Marcus. Sarah's voice was trembling now. What did they say? Nothing. Just that they thought we'd get along. You're lying. She stood up abruptly, grabbing her purse. I knew this was too good to be true. I knew it. Sarah, wait. Why? So you can tell me how this was all a big joke. How they bet you couldn't sit through a whole dinner with the fat girl from accounting. I've heard it before, Marcus. Different guys, same story. That's not... Save it. Tears were streaming down her face now. I hope you and your buddies have a good laugh about this. I hope it was worth it. She turned to leave. Marcus stood up so fast his chair fell backward with a crash. The entire restaurant went silent. Sarah, stop! She froze at the door. Marcus's heart was pounding. His hands were shaking again, but not from nervousness. From rage. Pure white-hot rage at Derek and Brad and every person who'd ever made Sarah feel like she wasn't worth common decency. Please, he said, his voice carrying across the silent restaurant. Please come back and sit down. Why should I? Because I'm about to do something really stupid, and I'd like you to be here for it. Sarah turned around slowly. What? Marcus pulled out his phone. His hands were steady now. Fury had a way of focusing everything. He opened his texts and scrolled until he found the group chat. The Boys, it was called. Derek, Brad himself, and 4 other guys from the office. He started reading aloud. Derek, 3 days ago. Dude, you need to meet my friend. She's perfect for you. Brad? Yeah, man, trust us. You won't believe her. Derek. She's got a great personality. Marcus looked up. The entire restaurant was staring at him. Sarah stood frozen by the door. You know what's funny about that phrase, great personality? It's code. It's what guys say when they want to tell other guys that a woman is fat without actually saying she's fat. Marcus, you don't have to, Sarah started. Yes, I do. He kept reading. Me, what's her name? Brad, Sarah Mitchell. Derek, from accounting. You've seen her around. Brad. This is gonna be epic! Marcus's voice cracked on the last word. Brad again. Get your camera ready. This is YouTube material. The restaurant erupted in gasps and whispers. Sarah's hand went to her mouth. Derek, I'll be at Romano's Saturday at 6. Corner booth. Won't miss this. Marcus looked around the restaurant. Sure enough, in the far corner, trying to hide behind a menu, sat Derek and Brad. Their faces went white when Marcus pointed at them. There they are, the architects of this hilarious prank. Oh my God, Sarah whispered. Marcus walked toward their booth. His legs felt like they were moving through water. Derek and Brad scrambled to stand up, but Marcus was faster. He slammed his fist on their table, not at them, just near them, hard enough to make their drinks jump. You think this is funny? His voice was shaking with barely controlled fury. You think humiliating another human being for your entertainment is funny? Marcus, man, it was just a joke, Derek started. A joke! Marcus's voice rose. He was aware of Sarah behind him now, and other diners standing up to see what was happening. Setting up a woman you know has been hurt before, tricking her into thinking someone actually wanted to spend time with her. That's your idea of a joke. We didn't mean, Brad tried. What did you mean then? Explain it to me. Explain to everyone here what the punchline was supposed to be. Silence. Was it supposed to be me leaving? Me laughing? Me taking pictures to share with the office? What exactly was supposed to be so hilarious about this? We just thought, Derek mumbled. You didn't think. That's the problem. You didn't think about Sarah spending hours getting ready for this, hoping maybe finally someone saw her as more than a punchline. You didn't think about me trying to put myself out there after 6 years of being too scared to date because my ex-wife destroyed my trust. You thought about yourselves and your juvenile need to feel superior to other people. Marcus's fist was still on the table. His knuckles were white. He could feel tears building behind his eyes. Anger tears. The kind that came when rage had nowhere else to go. You want to know something? His voice dropped to barely above a whisper, but in the silent restaurant everyone could hear him. My daughter asks me all the time why people are mean. Why kids at school make fun of her for wearing the wrong shoes or having the wrong lunchbox. And I tell her that hurt people hurt people. That the kids who are cruel are usually the ones who are most afraid. But you know what I realized just now? He looked at Derek and Brad really looked at them. I was wrong. Some people are just assholes. Some people are cruel because they can be, because they think it makes them powerful. Because they've never had someone stand up and tell them that what they're doing is disgusting and pathetic and says everything about who they are and nothing about their victims. Derek's face was red. You're making a scene, Marcus? Damn right I'm making a scene. Marcus's voice echoed off the walls. Because maybe if I make enough of a scene, you'll think twice before you do this to someone else. Maybe the next time you want to humiliate another human being for kicks, you'll remember this moment and feel even a fraction of the shame you should be feeling right now. A man at a nearby table started clapping. Then another. Then a woman. Within seconds, half the restaurant was applauding. Derek and Brad looked around wildly like cornered animals. We're leaving, Brad said, throwing money on the table. Yeah, you are. Marcus stepped aside to let them pass. And when you get to the office Monday, you're going to apologize to Sarah. A real apology, not a sorry you were offended apology. A real one. They practically ran out of the restaurant. Marcus stood there breathing hard, his whole body trembling with adrenaline. Slowly he turned around. Sarah was standing 5 feet away, tears streaming down her face, her hand still covering her mouth. Sarah, She walked toward him. For a terrifying second, Marcus thought she might slap him. Instead, she wrapped her arms around him and buried her face in his chest, sobbing. Marcus froze. Then carefully, he put his arms around her too. "I'm sorry," he whispered into her hair. "I'm so sorry they did that to you. You didn't deserve any of it." She pulled back, wiping her eyes. You didn't have to." "Yes, I did." Marcus's voice was firm now, the anger fading into something else. Protectiveness. "Nobody deserves to be treated like that. Nobody." The waiter from earlier appeared. "So, your table's still available if you want it. And management says your dinner's on the house, both of you." Sarah laughed through her tears. "Really?" "Really. Also, like 6 people want to buy you drinks, but I told them to give you some space first." Marcus looked at Sarah. "What do you say? Want to have that dinner after all? No jokes, no tricks. Just 2 people who could probably both use a good meal and some actual human kindness." Sarah studied his face. Marcus let her look, didn't hide anything. Let her see the sincerity, the anger still simmering under the surface, the genuine desire to make this right. "Okay," she said finally. "Yes, let's have dinner." They walked back to their table, the original one now cleaned up and reset with fresh water glasses. As they sat down, the restaurant erupted in another round of applause. Marcus felt his face flush. "This is surreal," he muttered. "You just called out 2 guys in front of 50 people, Sarah said. She was smiling now, really smiling. "I'd say surreal is an understatement." "I don't usually." Marcus ran his hand through his hair. "I'm not a confrontational person. I avoid conflict. I'm the guy who says, 'Excuse me,' when someone bumps into me." "So what changed?" Marcus thought about Emma. About the day she came home crying because a boy in her class said she was ugly. About how he'd held her and told her that some people were mean, but that didn't make their words true. About how he'd felt absolutely helpless because he couldn't fix it, couldn't make the hurt go away. "I have a daughter who needs to grow up in a world where people stand up to cruelty," he said quietly. "And I guess I realized that if I want her to be brave, I have to be brave first." Sarah reached across the table and took his hand. "Your daughter is lucky to have you." "I'm lucky to have her. She's the only reason I'm still sane." They ordered dinner pasta primavera for Sarah, chicken marsala for Marcus. The waiter brought them both wine without asking, winking as he set down the glasses. "So," Marcus said after taking a sip, "now that we've had the most dramatic first date in history, want to start over. How do we do that?" "Hi, I'm Marcus Chen. I'm 38 years old. I have a 10-year-old daughter who's smarter than me. I work in logistics, and I haven't been on a date in 6 years because I'm terrified of getting hurt again. But sitting here right now looking at you, I'm thinking maybe being terrified is worth it." Sarah's eyes filled with tears again, but she was smiling. "Hi, Marcus. I'm Sarah Mitchell. I'm 36. I work in accounting. I live alone with 3 cats, and I've spent most of my adult life believing that I wasn't worth anyone's time or attention. But tonight you made me feel like maybe I was wrong about that." "You were definitely wrong about that." They talked for 3 hours. The restaurant staff cleaned around them, reset other tables, served other customers. Marcus learned that Sarah grew up in Ohio, moved to Chicago for college, stayed for a job. She loved mystery novels and baking shows, and had a weakness for terrible action movies. She'd been heavy, her whole life had tried every diet, had given up trying to be something she wasn't. "I'm happier now," she said. "Acceptance is easier than fighting. I think you're perfect exactly as you are. You don't know me well enough to say that." "No, but I'd like to." Sarah told him about her family, 2 sisters both thin and married with kids. Parents who loved her but didn't understand her. Holidays that were exercises in polite avoidance of the elephant in the room, which was her. "They never say anything," she said. "But I can see them thinking it. Wondering why I can't just lose weight. Wondering if I've tried hard enough. That must be exhausting." "It is. But you know what's more exhausting? Caring what they think. Marcus told her about Christina, about the note she'd left, about the first year of single parenthood when he'd survived on frozen dinners and pure adrenaline, about learning to braid Emma's hair through YouTube tutorials, about the time he accidentally sent Emma to school with 2 left shoes and didn't realize until the teacher called. "You're doing great," Sarah said. "Emma's lucky." "Some days I'm not sure. Some days I feel like I'm barely holding it together." That's parenthood, isn't it? We're all barely holding it together. You don't have kids. No, but I have nieces and nephews. I watch my sisters. They're barely holding it together too. They just hide it better. When the restaurant finally kicked them out at 11 politely with apologies and more free wine, Marcus walked Sarah to her car. The parking lot was empty except for their 2 vehicles and a security light that flickered overhead. "This was not what I expected," Sarah said. "Me neither. I expected awkward silence and a polite excuse to leave early. Instead, you got a public confrontation and a 3-hour therapy session. Best first date ever." Sarah laughed. Then without warning she leaned up and kissed him on the cheek. "Thank you, Marcus, for tonight, for standing up for me, for making me feel like I matter. You do matter." "I'm starting to believe that." Marcus watched her drive away, her taillights disappearing into the Chicago night. His phone buzzed. A text from his mom. "Emma's asleep. How was the date?" He typed back, "I'll tell you everything tomorrow. But Mom, I think I might have just met someone special." Standing in that empty parking lot, Marcus Chen felt something he hadn't felt in 6 years. Hope. Not the desperate kind that grasps at anything. The real kind. The kind that says maybe, just maybe, good things are still possible. He didn't know that in the restaurant's corner booth, Derek and Brad had filmed everything. He didn't know that by Monday morning their video would be everywhere, but with a twist they never intended. He didn't know that his moment of courage would inspire thousands of people to stand up to cruelty in their own lives. All he knew was that he couldn't wait to see Sarah again, and that Emma was going to love her. Marcus woke up Sunday morning to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. His phone had been on silent since he'd gotten home at midnight, too wired from the date to sleep, too happy to care about anything except replaying every moment in his head. Now staring at the screen, his stomach dropped. The first text was from his mom. "Marcus, call me immediately. Emma saw something online." The second was from his sister Julie. "What the hell happened last night? You're trending on Twitter." The third was from a number he didn't recognize. "You're a hero, man. What you did took guts." Trending on Twitter. Marcus sat up in bed, his heart pounding. He opened the app, and there it was, right at the top, a video titled, "Man Destroys Bullies Who Set Him Up on Cruel Date." 12 million views. 12 million. Oh God. He clicked play. Someone had filmed everything from their phone. The audio was muffled but clear enough. Marcus watched himself slam his fist on Derek and Brad's table. Watched his face contort with rage. Heard his own voice echoing through the restaurant. Setting up a woman you know has been hurt before. Tricking her into thinking someone actually wanted to spend time with her. The comments were overwhelmingly positive. This man is what real masculinity looks like. Finally, someone standing up to workplace bullies. I'm crying watching this. But scattered among the praise were the uglier ones. She should be grateful anyone would date her. He's just virtue signaling. Beta male white knight. Marcus's hands were shaking again. He scrolled through his missed calls. His boss, HR, 3 reporters, and Sarah. Sarah had called 6 times. He called her back immediately. "Marcus?" Her voice was tight. "Have you seen it?" "Just now." "Sarah, I'm so sorry. I didn't know anyone was filming. It's everywhere. My sister called me at 6 in the morning. My phone hasn't stopped ringing. There are reporters outside my apartment building." "Reporters? Jesus Christ." "They want a statement." They want to know if we're together. They want to know how it feels to be the fat girl everyone's talking about. Her voice cracked. I can't even go get coffee without people staring at me. Sarah, I never meant for this to happen. I was just so angry I couldn't think straight. I know. She took a shaky breath. And I'm grateful, Marcus. I am. What you did was incredible. But now it's like I'm this symbol or something. This representative for every overweight woman who's ever been made to feel less than. And I didn't ask for that. I just wanted to have dinner. Marcus closed his eyes. What do you need from me? Tell me how to fix this. I don't think you can fix it. I think we just have to ride it out. Can I see you today? Silence on the other end. Then, I don't know if that's a good idea. Everything's happening so fast. I need time to think. Sarah, please don't let them ruin this. Don't let Derek and Brad win. They already won, Marcus. They turned my life into a spectacle. Then let's take it back. Let's show them that what we have is real, not some viral moment they can own. Is it real? Her voice was small. We had one date. One good date, but still just one. It's real to me. Another pause. I need some space, just for a few days. Can you give me that? Marcus wanted to say no, wanted to drive to her apartment right now and prove that this wasn't just about the video or the attention. But he could hear in her voice that pushing would only make it worse. Okay, but Sarah, I meant everything I said last night. Every word. I know. That's what scares me. She hung up. Marcus sat there holding his phone, feeling the happiness from last night curdle into anxiety. His bedroom door burst open. Emma stood there in her pajamas, her hair a tangled mess, holding his iPad. Daddy, why are you on YouTube? Oh, sweetheart, I can explain. You yelled at those mean men. She climbed onto his bed, iPad in hand, and replayed the video. You were so mad. I've never seen you that mad. Marcus took the iPad and paused the video. How did you find this? Grandma showed me. She said you did something very brave. Grandma showed you. Marcus felt his blood pressure spike. He made a mental note to have a conversation with his mother about age-appropriate content. Was that lady they were being mean to your girlfriend? She's my friend. Her name is Sarah. But you like her, I can tell. How can you tell? Emma rolled her eyes with the exasperation only a 10-year-old could muster. Because you look at her the way Prince Eric looks at Ariel. All smiley and googly-eyed. Googly-eyed? It's a technical term. She snuggled against him. I'm glad you yelled at those men. They were being bullies. I probably shouldn't have lost my temper like that. Why not? You always tell me to stand up to bullies. That's different. How? Marcus didn't have a good answer for that. Emma studied his face with the unnerving perception kids seem to develop around age 8. Are you sad because Sarah's mad at you? She's not mad. She's just overwhelmed. A lot of people saw that video. 12 million people. Emma said it matter-of-factly, like 12 million was a perfectly normal number. That's more people than live in Chicago. Where did you learn that? School. We're studying population. She paused. Can I meet Sarah? Maybe. Eventually. If she still wants to see me after all this craziness. She will. You're a good person, Daddy. She'd be silly not to like you. Marcus hugged his daughter tight. When did you get so smart? I've always been smart. You just noticed. The doorbell rang. Marcus's mother didn't wait for him to answer before letting herself in with her spare key. Carol Chen was 63, barely 5 feet tall, and had the energy of a woman half her age. She bustled into the bedroom carrying grocery bags. I brought breakfast. Emma, go wash your face. Marcus, you need to call your boss. He's been trying to reach you. Good morning to you too, Mom. Don't good morning me. Do you have any idea what you've done? Emma scurried off to the bathroom. Marcus followed his mother to the kitchen, where she was already unpacking eggs, bacon, and fresh fruit. I stood up for someone who was being treated terribly. You made yourself a public figure. There's a difference. Carol cracked eggs into a bowl with sharp, efficient movements. Your face is everywhere. TMZ called my house. TMZ Marcus. I didn't even know what that was until your sister explained it to me. I didn't plan for any of this. Of course you didn't. You acted on impulse, like your father. She said it with affection, but also exasperation. He would have done the same thing, gotten himself in trouble defending someone else. Marcus leaned against the counter. Is that a bad thing? No, it's why I married him, but it's also exhausting. She looked at him. How's the girl Sarah? Overwhelmed. Scared. Not sure she wants to see me again. Can you blame her? Her worst moment is entertainment for millions of strangers. It wasn't her worst moment. It was Derek and Brad's worst moment. The internet doesn't care about nuance, Marcus. You know that. Carol started cooking the bacon sizzling in the pan. What are you going to do? I don't know. Give her space like she asked. Hope she calls me back. And if she doesn't? Marcus didn't want to think about that. The phone rang before he could answer. His boss, Richard Paulson. Marcus stepped into the living room to take the call. Marcus, we need to talk. I know. I'm sorry about all this, Richard. I never intended... Sorry, Marcus, you're the best thing that's happened to this company in months. Our social media engagement is through the roof. Every major news outlet wants to interview you. HR is fielding calls from advocacy groups wanting to give you awards. Marcus blinked. Awards? The publicity is incredible. But we need to get ahead of this. I'm setting up a meeting with our PR team for tomorrow morning. 8 o'clock sharp. Can you be there? I don't want to do interviews, Richard. Marcus, you don't have a choice. You're the story whether you participate or not. Better to control the narrative than let others write it for you. What about Derek and Brad? Richard's voice went cold. They've been suspended pending investigation. I watched that video, Marcus. What they did was harassment, possibly grounds for termination. I don't want them fired. I just want them to leave Sarah alone. That's not your decision to make. This is a company matter now. Look, I know you're a private person. I respect that. But you stepped into the spotlight, and now you need to deal with the consequences. 8 o'clock tomorrow. Don't be late. He hung up. Marcus stood there, feeling like the ground was shifting under his feet. Emma emerged from the bathroom, face-washed hair still tangled. Grandma's making bacon. I know, sweetie. Are you in trouble at work? No, actually they're happy with me. Then why do you look so worried? Because I'm not sure this is what I wanted. Emma took his hand. What did you want? I just wanted to have dinner with Sarah, that's all. His mother called them to breakfast. They ate together at the small kitchen table, Emma chattering about her science project and an upcoming field trip to the planetarium. Carol watched Marcus with concern, but didn't press. She'd learned over the years that her son needed time to process things. After breakfast, Marcus's phone rang again. Sarah. His heart leapt. I changed my mind, she said without preamble. I want to see you. Can you meet me? Yes, anywhere. When? My apartment. Now. But Marcus, no cameras, no publicity. Just you and me. Just you and me, I promise. She gave him the address. Marcus kissed Emma goodbye, promised his mother he'd be careful, and drove across town to Sarah's apartment in Lincoln Park. A handful of reporters were camped outside her building. They swarmed his car the moment he parked. Mr. Chen, how long have you been dating Sarah Mitchell? Is this a publicity stunt? What do you say to critics who claim you're virtue signaling? Marcus pushed through them without answering. A security guard led him into the building. He took the elevator to the 4th floor and knocked on apartment 4C. Sarah opened the door immediately, pulling him inside and shutting it behind him. Are you okay? He asked. She wasn't. Her eyes were red from crying. She was wearing sweatpants and an oversized t-shirt. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. I've been reading comments all morning, she said. I know I shouldn't. Everyone says don't read the comments, but I can't help it. Sarah. Most of them are supportive. Really supportive. Women telling me I deserve happiness. Men saying they wish they had your courage. But the other ones, Marcus. The ones that say I should be grateful you'd even look at me. The ones analyzing my weight and suggesting diets. The ones calling you a white knight who's only with me to feel good about himself. Those people don't know me. They don't know us. But they think they do. That's the problem. They've made up this whole story about who we are based on a 2-minute video. Marcus took her hands. Then let's show them the real story. How? I don't know yet. But Sarah, I'm not giving up on this. On us. One date in and I already know I want to see where this goes. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you're kind. I know you're smart. I know you make me laugh. I know when I'm with you I feel like I can be myself without pretending to have it all together. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I'm scared, Marcus. I'm scared of hoping this is real and then waking up to find out it was just a moment. Just a story people told themselves. It's real. I'm real. This feeling I have when I look at you, that's real. She kissed him. It wasn't careful or tentative. It was desperate and full of everything she couldn't say out loud. Marcus kissed her back, his hands cupping her face, tasting salt from her tears. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Sarah laughed shakily. That was real, she said. Very real. They moved to her couch. The apartment was small, but cozy, decorated with plants and bookshelves stuffed with paperbacks. 3 cats appeared from various hiding spots, investigating Marcus with suspicious sniffs. The orange one is Marmalade, Sarah said. The calico is Patches. The black one is Midnight. Very creative names, I know. They're perfect. Marcus scratched Midnight behind the ears. The cat purred and climbed into his lap. I've always wanted a cat, but Emma's allergic. Tell me about her, your daughter. So Marcus did. He told Sarah about Emma's birth, how Christina had hemorrhaged and almost died, and how that had changed something in her. How she'd looked at baby Emma with fear instead of love. How Marcus had known even then that they were in trouble, but had hoped it would get better. It never got better, he said. She tried, I'll give her that. But some people aren't meant to be parents. Christina was one of them. Do you hate her? No, I'm angry, sure, but mostly I feel sad for her. She's missing out on this incredible kid. Emma's funny and weird and so damn smart it scares me sometimes. Christina's in Thailand having adventures, but she's missing the biggest adventure of all. Sarah leaned her head on his shoulder. You're a good dad, Marcus. Anyone can see that. I'm trying. Some days it feels impossible. Last week Emma asked me about periods because her friend got hers, and now Emma's terrified. I had to call my sister for help because I had no idea what to say. I bought her a book, but she has questions the book doesn't answer. What kind of questions? Things like, will it hurt, and will everyone know, and what if I get it at school? I answered the best I could, but I felt so inadequate. Like she deserves a mom who understands this stuff. She has a dad who cares enough to try. That's more than a lot of kids get. They talked for hours. Sarah told him about her job, how she'd worked her way up from data entry to senior accountant. How numbers made sense in a way people didn't. How she'd trained herself to be invisible at work, to never draw attention, because attention meant judgment. But you drew attention anyway, Marcus said gently. Because people like Derek and Brad look for targets. I know, I've always known. But knowing doesn't make it hurt less. It shouldn't hurt at all. You shouldn't have to armor yourself against cruelty just to exist in the world. That's a nice thought, but it's not reality. Maybe it should be. Around 6, Marcus's phone rang. His mom. Emma wanted to say goodnight. Marcus put her on speaker. Hi, Daddy. Did you see Sarah? Is she nice? Does she like cats? Can I meet her? Sarah laughed. Hi, Emma. I'm Sarah. And yes, I love cats. I have 3 of them. 3. That's so many. What are their names? Marmalade Patches and Midnight. Those are good names. I wanted a cat, but Daddy says I'm allergic. Are you allergic to anything? Shellfish and mean people. Emma giggled. You're funny. Daddy, she's funny. I know, sweetheart. Can she come to dinner sometime? Grandma's making pot roast tomorrow and there's always too much. Marcus looked at Sarah, raising his eyebrows in question. She nodded. Sarah would love to come to dinner, he said. Yay! Okay, I have to go now. Grandma says I need to take a bath. Bye, Sarah. I can't wait to meet you. After Emma hung up, Sarah looked terrified. I just agreed to meet your daughter. You don't have to if you're not ready. No, I want to. I'm just nervous. What if she doesn't like me? She'll love you. She already thinks you're funny. What if I say the wrong thing? I'm not good with kids. You'll be fine. Just be yourself. Sarah bit her lip. Marcus, this is moving really fast. Too fast. I don't know. Maybe. But also maybe not. Is that crazy? If it is, we're both crazy. They ordered Chinese food and watched terrible action movies on Sarah's couch, the cats curled up between them. Marcus fell asleep somewhere around 11, his head on Sarah's shoulder. He woke up at 2 in the morning to find her watching him. Sorry, he mumbled. I didn't mean to fall asleep. It's okay. You looked peaceful. I should go. Let you get some sleep. Or you could stay. Marcus's heart jumped. Sarah. On the couch, she clarified quickly. I'm not ready for. I just don't want to be alone tonight. Is that okay? Of course it's okay. She brought him a blanket and pillow, kissed him goodnight, went to her bedroom and closed the door. Marcus lay on the couch, midnight purring on his chest, and thought about how his life had changed in 48 hours. How he'd gone from lonely single dad to viral video sensation to falling for a woman he barely knew but somehow understood completely. His phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Thank you for staying. Thank you for everything. I think I'm falling for you and it terrifies me. He texted back. Me too. On both counts. Morning came too soon. Marcus woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of Sarah moving around the kitchen. She'd changed into jeans and a sweater, her hair down around her shoulders. Good morning, she said. Coffee, please. They sat at her small kitchen table. Through the window, Marcus could see reporters still camped outside. Sarah followed his gaze. They've been there since yesterday. Building management says they can't make them leave. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It kind of is. No. Her voice was firm. Derek and Brad did this. You just responded. There's a difference. Marcus's phone rang. Richard again. I have to take this. It's my boss. Go ahead. Marcus? Where are you? The PR meeting is in 20 minutes. Marcus had completely forgotten. I'm in Lincoln Park. I can be there in 40 minutes if traffic's good. Get here as fast as you can. We've got Good Morning America calling. They want you on tomorrow. I'm not doing Good Morning America. We'll discuss it when you get here. Just get here. Marcus hung up and looked at Sarah helplessly. I have to go to work. My boss wants me to do interviews. Are you going to? I don't want to, but he's right that people will tell our story whether we participate or not. Then we should tell it ourselves. Sarah took a deep breath. What if we did one interview, just one, together, and we told them the truth about what happened and what Derek and Brad did, and then we asked everyone to please leave us alone so we could figure out what this is without the whole world watching? You'd do that? Put yourself out there like that. I'm already out there, Marcus. Might as well control the narrative, right? Marcus took her hand. You're amazing. You know that. I'm terrified. But I'm also tired of hiding. They drove to Marcus's office in separate cars, Sarah following him through downtown traffic. The reporters at her building shouted questions, but they ignored them. At the office, Richard was waiting with the entire PR team, 3 women and 2 men in expensive suits, all holding tablets and looking at Marcus like he was a bomb about to explode. "Marcus, good. You're here. And you must be Sarah." Richard shook her hand. "Thank you for coming. I know this is overwhelming." "That's an understatement," Sarah said. They sat in the conference room. The PR team laid out their strategy: controlled interviews with pre-approved questions, social media statements, possibly a sit-down with a major network. They'd position Marcus as the everyday hero standing up to workplace bullying. They'd position Sarah as the victim-turned-advocate. "I'm not a victim," Sarah interrupted. "And I'm not an advocate. I'm just a person who went on a date." The lead PR woman, whose name was Jennifer, smiled patronizingly. "Of course. But the public needs a narrative they can understand. Hero and victim is clean. It's simple." "It's also wrong," Marcus said. "Sarah's not a victim. She's a survivor. And I'm not a hero. I'm just a guy who got angry." Jennifer's smile tightened. "With all due respect, Mr. Chen, we're the experts here. We know what plays well in media." "I don't care what plays well. I care about telling the truth." The room went silent. Richard cleared his throat. "Marcus, Jennifer's team has gotten clients through much worse than this. Maybe we should listen to their advice." "No." Marcus stood up. "We'll do one interview. One. With someone we trust. And we'll tell the real story, not some sanitized version designed to make us look good. Take it or leave it." Richard looked at Jennifer. Jennifer looked at her team. Finally, she nodded. "Fine. We'll reach out to Anderson Cooper. His team is fair. They'll let you tell your story." "Okay. But Sarah and I approve all questions beforehand. And if anything makes either of us uncomfortable, we walk." "Deal." "Deal." They spent the next hour preparing. Jennifer's team coached them on talking points, body language, how to deflect hostile questions. Marcus watched Sarah grow more confident as they practiced her voice stronger each time she answered. When they finally left the conference room, it was past noon. Marcus's stomach was growling. They grabbed sandwiches from a deli down the street and ate in his car, hiding from the world for a few precious minutes. "That was intense," Sarah said. "Are you okay? We don't have to do the interview if you don't want to." "No, I want to. I want people to hear the real story. I want Derek and Brad to see that they didn't break me. They didn't even come close." Sarah smiled. "Can I tell you something? Anything. When I was getting ready for our date Saturday, I almost canceled 3 times. I stood in front of my closet crying because nothing fit right, and I was convinced you'd take one look at me and leave. I was so sure it was going to be the worst night of my life. And instead it was the best night of my life, even with the drama, even with the video. Because for the first time in forever, someone saw me, really saw me, and didn't look away." Marcus leaned over and kissed her softly. "I'm never looking away, Sarah. I promise you that." His phone buzzed. A text from Emma. "Is Sarah coming to dinner tonight? I made a welcome sign." Marcus showed Sarah the text. She laughed, tears in her eyes. "She made me a sign. She's been talking about meeting you all morning, according to my mom. Fair warning, she's going to ask you a million questions and probably show you every toy she owns." "I can handle that." "Can you handle pot roast my mom makes enough to feed an army?" "I love pot roast." "Then I guess you're coming to dinner." They sat in the car a while longer, watching people hurry past on the sidewalk, living their normal lives. Marcus thought about how quickly everything had changed, how one moment of anger had led to this sitting in his car with a woman who made him feel things he'd thought were dead, planning to introduce her to his daughter, preparing to tell their story to millions of people. It was terrifying. It was overwhelming. It was perfect. "What are you thinking?" Sarah asked. "I'm thinking that I'm glad Derek and Brad are assholes." She burst out laughing. "That's the last thing I expected you to say? But it's true. If they weren't, we wouldn't be here. So we should thank them." "Hell no. But maybe someday when this is all over we can look back and realize that the worst thing that happened to us was actually the best thing." Sarah took his hand. "I think we already can." Emma had changed outfits 3 times before Marcus and Sarah arrived. Carol found her in her room trying on a 4th dress, her floor covered with rejected options. "Sweetheart, they'll be here in 10 minutes. You need to pick something." "But Grandma, what if Sarah doesn't like what I'm wearing? What if she thinks I look weird?" Carol sat on Emma's bed, patting the space beside her. Emma climbed up, her face scrunched with worry. "Why do you think Sarah would think you look weird?" "Because kids at school say I dress weird. They say my clothes are babyish." "Emma, you're 10 years old. You're supposed to dress like a kid." "But what if Sarah thinks Daddy should date someone whose daughter is cooler? What if she meets me and decides I'm too much trouble?" Carol's heart broke a little. She pulled Emma close. "Listen to me. Your daddy likes Sarah because she's kind. And kind people don't judge little girls for their clothes. They don't think kids are too much trouble. They just love people for who they are." "How do you know?" "Because I watched the video of your dad defending her. I saw how angry he got when those men were cruel to her. A man doesn't do that for someone who'd turn around and be cruel to his daughter. You understand?" Emma nodded slowly. "So she's a good person." "I think she might be a very good person. But you know what? You get to decide that for yourself. If you don't like her, you tell your daddy. He'll listen." "Really? Really? Now put on the purple dress. It's your favorite, and it makes you happy. That's all that matters." Emma changed into the purple dress with the tulle skirt. Carol braided her hair and let her wear the sparkly headband she usually saved for special occasions. When the doorbell rang, Emma froze. "What if I say something dumb?" "Then you say something dumb. Everyone does. The people worth keeping are the ones who don't care." Emma took a deep breath and ran downstairs. Carol followed at a more dignified pace, arriving just as Emma flung open the door. Marcus stood there with Sarah, both of them looking nervous. Emma stared at Sarah for a long moment. Sarah stared back, clearly terrified. "Hi," Emma finally said. "I'm Emma. I made you a sign, but then I thought maybe that was babyish, so I hid it in my room, but I can get it if you want to see it. It has glitter." Sarah's face broke into the most genuine smile Carol had seen in years. "I love glitter. Can I see it?" "Really? Really?" Emma grabbed Sarah's hand and dragged her upstairs before Marcus could even get inside. He stood in the doorway looking shell-shocked. "That went well," Carol said dryly. "I thought she'd be shy. Emma's never like that with strangers." "Sarah's not a stranger to her. Emma's been watching videos about you two all day. She's decided Sarah's her friend already." Marcus stepped inside, closing the door. "Mom, you let her watch more videos." "I supervised." Most of them were supportive. Women talking about their own experiences with bullying. Men saying you did the right thing. It was actually quite educational. "She's 10. She's 10 with access to the internet and a father who just became a viral sensation. I chose the lesser of two evils." Carol headed to the kitchen. "Dinner's almost ready. Set the table." Upstairs, Emma was showing Sarah her entire room. Every stuffed animal had a name and backstory. Every drawing on the wall required explanation. Sarah sat on Emma's bed, listening with complete attention as Emma told her about Mr. Whiskers, the rabbit, who was actually a detective, and Princess Sparkle, the unicorn who solved crimes with him. "They're partners," Emma explained. "Like on TV, Mr. Whiskers is good at finding clues, and Princess Sparkle is good at talking to witnesses because she's very friendly." "That's a great team," Sarah said. "Everyone needs different skills." "That's what Daddy says. He says people are like puzzle pieces, different shapes, but they all fit together to make something beautiful." "Your dad's a smart man." Emma studied Sarah's face. "Are you Daddy's puzzle piece?" Sarah blinked, caught off guard. "I don't know yet. Maybe. Would that be okay with you?" "I think so. You seem nice. And you're not fake nice like some of Daddy's friends from work. You're real nice." "How can you tell the difference?" "Fake nice people smile too much and talk in high voices like I'm a baby. You talk to me like I'm a regular person. You are a regular person. A very cool regular person who writes detective stories about a rabbit and a unicorn. Emma beamed. Want to see the sign I made? She pulled it from under her bed. The poster board was covered in glitter and markers, Welcome Sarah, with a backwards M and about 17 exclamation points. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Emma, this is the most beautiful sign I've ever seen. Really? Even with the backwards M-E? Especially with the backwards M. It shows you made it yourself. That makes it special. Can we hang it up? Absolutely. They taped it to Emma's door. Downstairs, Marcus was helping his mother set the table when he heard laughter from upstairs. Real laughter, not the polite kind. His chest felt tight with something he couldn't name. She really likes Sarah, Carol observed. Is that good or bad? It's good if Sarah sticks around. It's bad if she doesn't. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Mom. I'm being realistic, Marcus. Emma's already attached. If this doesn't work out, she'll be devastated. It'll work out. You sound very sure for someone who's been on one date. I am sure. Marcus looked at his mother. I know it sounds crazy. I know it's too fast. But Mom, when I'm with Sarah, I feel like myself again. Not single dad Marcus, not Marcus who has to have everything together. Just me. Carol's expression softened. Then I hope you're right, for all your sakes. Sarah and Emma came downstairs holding hands. Emma was chattering about her science project, and Sarah was asking intelligent questions that made Emma light up even more. They sat down to dinner, Emma insisting Sarah sit next to her. Carol served pot roast with carrots and potatoes. The conversation flowed easily. Emma told Sarah about school, about her best friend Madison, who was moving to California, about the boy who pulled her hair on the playground. Did you tell a teacher? Sarah asked. Daddy says I should, but I don't want to be a tattletale. It's not tattling if someone's hurting you. Tattling is getting someone in trouble for no reason. Telling a teacher that someone's being mean is protecting yourself. There's a difference. Emma thought about this. No one ever explained it like that before. Well, now you know. Marcus watched them interact and felt something shift inside him. This was what he'd been missing. Not just someone for himself, but someone who could see Emma as a whole person. Someone who took her seriously. After dinner, Emma begged Sarah to play a board game. They chose Candyland, which Emma had long outgrown, but still loved. Marcus and Carol cleaned up the kitchen while shrieks of laughter came from the living room. She's good with her, Carol admitted, scrubbing a pot. I know. But Marcus, you need to be careful. Emma's already calling her my Sarah. If this relationship ends badly, it won't. You can't know that. No, but I can choose to believe it. I can choose to take this chance. Carol dried her hands and turned to face her son. Your father used to say that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's being terrified and doing the thing anyway. Is that your way of giving me your blessing? That's my way of saying I see how you look at her. I see how she looks at you. I see how gentle she is with Emma. And I think maybe, just maybe, you've found something worth fighting for. Marcus hugged his mother. Thanks, Mom. Don't thank me yet. Wait until the media circus dies down and you're dealing with real life. That's when you'll know if it's real. In the living room, Emma had won Candyland for the third time. She was doing a victory dance while Sarah pretended to be devastated by her loss. I demand a rematch, Sarah declared. You'll just lose again. Probably. But I'm a glutton for punishment. They played 2 more games. Emma won both. Around 8:30 she started yawning despite her protests that she wasn't tired. Bedtime, Marcus said, but Daddy Sarah's here. And Sarah will come back another time. Say good night. Emma hugged Sarah fiercely. You have to come back. Promise. I promise. Pinky promise. Sarah linked her pinky with Emma's. Pinky promise. Emma went upstairs to get ready for bed. Marcus walked Sarah to her car, his mother discreetly staying inside to give them privacy. "She's amazing," Sarah said. "Marcus, your daughter is absolutely incredible. She really likes you." "I really like her. She's so smart and funny and genuine. You've done an amazing job raising her." "I'm terrified I'm screwing her up." "You're not. Trust me. I work with people all day who were actually screwed up by their parents. Emma is loved and secure and confident. That's all you." Marcus pulled Sarah close. "This is moving fast." "I know. Does that scare you?" "Terrifies me. But I'm doing it anyway." They kissed, long and slow. When they pulled apart, Sarah was smiling. "What?" Marcus asked. "Emma asked me if I was your puzzle piece." "What did you say?" "I said maybe. But Marcus, I think I am. I think we fit." "Me too." Sarah drove away, and Marcus went back inside. He found his mother on the couch knitting something that might have been a scarf. "She's lovely," Carol said without looking up. "I approve." "I wasn't aware I needed your approval." "You always need your mother's approval. It's in the handbook." She set down her knitting. "Marcus, I'm happy for you, truly. Just be careful with Emma's heart. She's already invested." "I know. I will be." He went upstairs to tuck Emma in. She was already under the covers, her stuffed animals arranged around her. "Did you have fun tonight?" he asked, sitting on her bed. "So much fun. Sarah's the best. Can she come to my dance recital next month?" "We'll have to see. That's a big step." "But I want her to see me dance." "I know, baby. But Sarah and I are still figuring things out." Emma's face fell. "Are you going to break up?" "What, no? Why would you think that?" "Because you said you're figuring things out. That's what Madison's parents said before her dad moved out." Marcus's heart sank. "Oh, sweetheart. No, that's not what I meant. Sarah and I are still getting to know each other. We're not breaking up. We're just taking things slow so we don't mess it up." "So she'll stay." "I hope so. But Emma, even if grown-up stuff doesn't work out, that doesn't mean Sarah would disappear from your life. She cares about you." "Promise." "I can't promise that, honey. But I can promise I'll try my hardest to make this work." Emma snuggled into her pillow. "I love her, Daddy." "You just met her." "I know, but I do. Is that weird?" "No, baby, it's not weird." "Do you love her?" Marcus thought about Sarah's laugh, her kindness, the way she made him feel seen. "I think I'm getting there." "Good. Because she loves you too. I can tell." "How?" "The way she looks at you when you're not paying attention. Like you're made of stars or something." Marcus kissed Emma's forehead. "When did you get so wise?" "I've always been wise. You just keep forgetting." He turned off her light and went to his own room. His phone had 17 new messages. Most were from reporters or advocacy groups. But one was from Sarah. "Tonight was perfect. Emma is perfect. You're perfect. I'm scared of how much I feel this soon, but I'm not running. Thank you for letting me into your life." Marcus typed back, "Thank you for being brave enough to stay. See you tomorrow." "Definitely. Anderson Cooper's team wants us at the studio at 10 for pre-interviews. Looking forward to telling our story." "Me too." "Good night, Marcus." "Good night, Sarah." He lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow, they'd tell millions of people about the worst and best night of their lives. They'd put themselves out there for judgment and criticism. But tonight, right now, Marcus felt nothing but grateful. Grateful that Derek and Brad had been cruel enough to give him this chance. Grateful that he'd been brave enough to take it. Grateful that Sarah had stayed when every instinct probably told her to run. His phone buzzed again. This time, it was his sister Julie. "Mom called, said you brought her home. Call me tomorrow. I want details." Then another message, this one from an unknown number. "Mr. Chen, this is Diane Sawyer's assistant. We'd love to have you and Ms. Mitchell on for an exclusive interview." Please call at your earliest convenience. And another from a different number. Marcus, it's Brad. I need to talk to you, please. It's important. Marcus stared at Brad's message for a long moment. His first instinct was to delete it. But something stopped him. He opened it and typed, "What do you want?" The response came immediately. "To apologize. For real this time. Can we meet? I don't think that's a good idea. Please, 5 minutes. I need to say this to your face." Marcus sighed. "Fine. Coffee shop on Clark Street. Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. Don't be late." "Thank you. I'll be there." Marcus set his phone on his nightstand and closed his eyes. He wasn't sure what Brad could possibly say that would make any difference. But he'd learned in the past few days that sometimes the most unexpected moments led to the most important changes. Maybe Brad deserved a chance to explain. Maybe not. But Marcus would listen. That's what decent people did. The next morning, Marcus and Sarah met at the CNN studio downtown. Jennifer and her PR team were already there going over talking points and preparing them for Anderson Cooper's questions. The makeup artist worked on both of them, powdering away the shine and adding color to their faces. "I hate this," Sarah whispered. "I look like a different person." "You look beautiful." "I look plastic." "You could never look plastic." Anderson Cooper himself came in to introduce himself. He was shorter than he looked on TV, but had the same intense, intelligent gaze. "Thank you both for doing this," he said, shaking their hands. "I want you to know this is a safe space. I'm not here to ambush you or make you look bad. I genuinely want to hear your story." "We appreciate that," Marcus said. "I've seen the video probably 50 times. What you did standing up for Sarah like that, it resonated with people. But I want to go deeper. I want to know about you as people, not just as a viral moment." "That's all we want too," Sarah said. "To be seen as real people." "Good. Then let's make that happen." They sat on the interview set, cameras and lights surrounding them. Marcus held Sarah's hand. She was trembling slightly. "You okay?" he whispered. "No, but I'll do it anyway." Anderson counted down, and they were live. His first question was direct. "Take me back to that Saturday night. Marcus, what were you thinking when you realized what Derek and Brad had done?" Marcus took a breath. "Honestly, I was thinking about my daughter. Emma's 10 years old, and she's already learning that some people are cruel just because they can be. I've told her to stand up to bullies, to use her voice to protect people who can't protect themselves. And in that moment, I realized I had to practice what I preach. I had to show her that words without action are meaningless." "And Sarah, what was going through your mind?" Sarah's voice was steady, despite her nerves. "I thought, this is it. This is the moment I've been afraid of my whole life. Being set up as a joke because of how I look. I wanted to run. But then Marcus spoke up, and I realized I didn't have to run. Someone was finally fighting for me." "Had you experienced this kind of cruelty before?" "Many times. Not always as blatant. Sometimes it's subtle. The way people don't make eye contact. The way they assume I'm lazy or don't care about myself. The way they feel entitled to comment on my body or offer unsolicited diet advice. It's death by 1,000 cuts." "Marcus, in the video you mention your ex-wife. Can you talk about that?" Marcus felt Sarah squeeze his hand. "My wife left when our daughter was 4. She said she couldn't do motherhood anymore. I spent years wondering what I did wrong, what I could have done differently. I learned that some pain comes from other people's choices, not our failures. And I think that's what I saw in Sarah that night. Someone who'd internalized other people's cruelty as truth about themselves." "Is that accurate, Sarah?" "Completely. I've spent my life believing that my worth was tied to my weight, that I didn't deserve love or respect because I didn't fit society's standard of beauty. Marcus shattered that belief in one moment. He saw me, not my body. Me." "You've been on 2 dates. This is a very new relationship. Are you worried the attention might destroy it before it has a chance to grow? Sarah and Marcus looked at each other. Sarah answered first. Of course I'm worried. This is intense and overwhelming, and we barely know each other. But I also know that sometimes the best things come from the scariest moments. So yes, I'm terrified. But I'm not running. And Marcus, I'm all in. I know it sounds crazy. I know we've only known each other a few days, but Sarah makes me feel like I can be myself without apology. She's kind to my daughter, she's patient with my chaos, and she makes me laugh. That's worth fighting for. Let's talk about Derek and Brad. They've been suspended from their jobs. Some people online are calling for them to be fired. Others say the punishment doesn't fit the crime. What do you think should happen to them? Marcus had been dreading this question. I don't want them fired. I want them to understand why what they did was wrong. I want them to grow, but I also want consequences. Because without consequences, people like them keep doing this. They keep hurting others for entertainment. Sarah. I want an apology. A real one. I want them to acknowledge that they treated me as less than human. And I want them to think twice before they do this to someone else. But firing them, that feels like piling on. They've already been humiliated publicly. Let that be enough. That's very gracious of you. It's not gracious. It's self-preservation. If I hold on to anger, they win. They get to control my emotions even when they're not in the room. I refuse to give them that power. Anderson nodded, clearly impressed. You've both become advocates for anti-bullying without meaning to. Do you see yourselves continuing this work? I just want to live my life, Sarah said. I want to go to work, spend time with people I care about, and not be a symbol. But if our story helps even one person stand up to cruelty, then maybe all this chaos is worth it. Marcus. Same. I'm a single dad who works in logistics. I'm nobody special. But if what I did inspires other people to speak up when they see injustice, then I'm grateful for that. Just don't expect me to become a professional activist. I have a daughter to raise. The interview lasted 40 minutes. When it was over, Anderson shook both their hands again. That was powerful. Really powerful. I think you're going to help a lot of people. Outside the studio, Jennifer was ecstatic. That was perfect. You two were authentic and vulnerable and strong. The internet is going to love this. We don't care if the internet loves it, Marcus said. We just wanted to tell the truth. Well, you did. Beautifully. Sarah's phone rang. Her sister. I have to take this. She stepped away. Marcus checked his own phone and found a text from Emma. Did you tell everyone about Sarah? Is she still your girlfriend? Can she come to dinner again? He smiled and typed back. Yes, yes, and yes. Love you, pumpkin. Sarah came back looking shaken. That was my sister. She's crying. She said she had no idea how much I'd been hurting all these years. She wants to talk, really talk, not the surface stuff we usually do. That's good, right? I think so. It's scary but good. She looked at Marcus. This is all happening so fast. 3 days ago I was invisible. Now everyone sees me. Do you regret it? No, but I'm exhausted. Then let's go somewhere quiet. Just us. No cameras, no reporters, no pressure. They drove to the lakeshore and walked along the water. It was Tuesday morning, so the beach was mostly empty. They took off their shoes and walked in the sand, the waves lapping at their feet. I've been thinking, Sarah said, about what happens next, when the attention dies down and we're just two regular people trying to figure out if we work together. What about it? I'm scared we only work in crisis mode, that we're addicted to the drama, and once things calm down, we'll realize we have nothing in common. Do you believe that? No, but I'm afraid of it. Marcus stopped walking and turned to face her. Sarah, I like you. Not because of what happened at the restaurant, not because of the attention. I like you because you're smart and funny and kind. I like that you listen to Emma like she matters. I like that you're brave even when you're terrified. Those things don't change when the cameras go away. How can you be so sure? Because I've spent 6 years being alone. I know what loneliness feels like. And this doesn't feel lonely. Sarah kissed him salt from the lake on their lips. Okay, I believe you. Good. Because I meant every word. They walked back to their cars holding hands. Marcus's phone rang as they reached the parking lot. An unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. Is this Marcus Chen? Yes. Who's this? My name is Catherine Mitchell. I'm Sarah's mother. Marcus's heart stopped. Sarah froze beside him, her face going pale. Mrs. Mitchell, Marcus said carefully. How can I help you? I saw the interview. I need to talk to my daughter. She won't answer my calls. Marcus looked at Sarah. She was shaking her head violently, backing away from him, like her mother's voice through the phone could reach out and grab her. I'm not sure that's a good idea right now, Marcus said. Young man, I don't know who you think you are, but Sarah is my daughter. I have a right to speak to her. With respect, Mrs. Mitchell, Sarah is a grown woman. She gets to decide who she talks to. Is she there? Let me talk to her. Please. The please broke something in Catherine's voice. It wasn't demanding anymore. It was desperate. Marcus covered the phone and looked at Sarah. She sounds upset. Do you want to talk to her? No. Yes, I don't know. Sarah's hands were shaking. What did she say? That she saw the interview. That she wants to talk to you. Sarah closed her eyes, took 3 deep breaths, finally nodded. Marcus handed her the phone. Mom? Marcus couldn't hear Catherine's response, but he watched Sarah's face cycle through emotions. Anger, pain, something that might have been hope. I didn't think you'd care, Sarah said quietly. You've never cared before. A pause. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. That's not fair. You don't get to cry now. You don't get to act like you didn't spend my whole life making me feel like I was your biggest disappointment. Marcus wanted to give her privacy, but Sarah grabbed his hand, holding on like he was the only thing keeping her anchored. No, Mom. You need to hear this. Do you know how many times I came home from school crying because kids called me fat? Do you know what you said? You said maybe if I tried harder they'd leave me alone, like it was my fault, like I deserved it. Sarah was crying now, tears streaming down her face. Marcus pulled her close, letting her lean against him while she fought this battle. I know you loved me. I never doubted that. But love isn't enough when it comes with conditions. When it comes with the implication that I'd be easier to love if I just looked different. Catherine said something that made Sarah's face crumple. I want to believe that. I do. But Mom, I can't keep hoping you'll see me the way I need to be seen. It hurts too much. Another pause. Sarah wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. Okay, we can talk, but not today. I need time. Can you give me that? Sarah nodded at whatever Catherine said next. I'll call you this weekend. I promise. She hung up and collapsed against Marcus, sobbing. He held her, one hand stroking her hair, the other wrapped around her waist. They stood there in the parking lot while Sarah cried out years of hurt. I'm sorry, she finally gasped. I'm sorry I'm a mess. You're not a mess, you're human. She said she didn't realize how much she'd hurt me. She said she was trying to protect me by making me stronger. Like being hard on me would somehow armor me against the world. That's not how it works. I know, but she didn't. She thought she was helping. Sarah pulled back, wiping her face. She wants to meet you. Me? She said any man who'd defend me like you did deserves to meet her daughter's family. Those were her exact words. Her daughter's family. Like she's acknowledging we're together. Are we together, I mean, officially? Sarah laughed through her tears. We've been on national television talking about our relationship. I think that counts as official. Good. Because I'd like to be your boyfriend, if that's okay with you. It's very okay with me. They drove to Sarah's apartment. The reporters had finally given up, leaving the entrance clear. Inside, Sarah made tea while Marcus sat on her couch with all three cats competing for his lap space. My mother's never been easy, Sarah said, bringing 2 mugs to the couch. She grew up poor in rural Ohio, worked 3 jobs to put herself through community college, met my dad when she was 22, and married him 6 months later. She had my oldest sister at 23, then my middle sister 2 years later, then me when she was 30. That's a big gap. I was an accident. A happy accident, she always said. But still. My sisters were thin and athletic and popular. I was the chubby kid who preferred books to sports. I think she didn't know what to do with me. So she tried to make you into something she understood. Exactly. Every diet, every exercise program, every helpful comment about my portions. She thought she was being a good mother, teaching me discipline and self-control. But all you heard was that you weren't good enough. All I heard was that I was the problem, that if I could just fix myself, everything would be better. Marcus set down his tea and took her hands. You're not a problem, Sarah. You never were. Your mother was doing the best she could with what she knew, but that doesn't make it right, and it doesn't mean you have to forgive her. But I want to. Is that stupid? It's not stupid. It's brave. Or maybe it's desperate. Maybe I'm so starved for my mother's approval that I'll take any crumb she offers. Or maybe you're strong enough now to hear what she has to say without it destroying you. Maybe you've built a life that doesn't depend on her validation. Sarah leaned her head on his shoulder. When did you get so wise? 6 years of single parenting. You learn a lot about yourself when you're responsible for another human being. Tell me more about Emma's mom, about Christina. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. What do you want to know? Why she left, really, not the surface explanation. I've asked myself that question 1,000 times. The truth is, I don't think I'll ever completely understand. Christina was 26 when she got pregnant. We'd only been dating 8 months. Getting married felt like the right thing to do, but looking back, we barely knew each other. Did you love her? I thought I did, but I think I loved the idea of her more than the actual person. She was beautiful and spontaneous in everything I wasn't. I was stable and predictable. She was chaos. It was exciting until it wasn't. What changed? Emma. The moment she was born, Christina changed. She looked at our daughter like she was a trap instead of a gift. She tried to be a good mom. She really did. But postpartum depression hit her hard and she refused to get help, said she could handle it on her own. But she couldn't. No. And I didn't know how to help her. I was drowning in diapers and midnight feedings and trying to keep my job. I didn't see how bad it had gotten until she was already gone. Sarah traced patterns on his palm. Do you blame yourself? Every day. I wonder if I'd been more attentive, more supportive, if she would have stayed. But my therapist says I can't own other people's choices. Christina made a decision. I have to live with it. You see a therapist? For 4 years after she left. Best decision I ever made. Learned how to process the abandonment, how to be a single parent, how to not pass my issues on to Emma. That's incredible, Marcus. A lot of men wouldn't do that work. I didn't have a choice. Emma was watching me, learning from me. I couldn't let her grow up thinking it was okay to fall apart when things got hard. Sarah kissed him softly. You're a good man. I'm trying to be. Some days are easier than others. Marcus's phone buzzed. A reminder about his meeting with Brad in the morning. He'd almost forgotten about it. Everything okay? Sarah asked. Brad texted last night. Wants to apologize in person. Brad from the restaurant? Yeah. I told him I'd meet him for coffee tomorrow morning. Are you sure that's a good idea? Probably not. But I want to hear what he has to say. Can I come with you? Marcus looked at her surprised. You want to see him? I want to face him. I've been the victim in this story long enough. Time to take back some power. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, Sarah. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. Okay, then we'll go together. They spent the rest of the afternoon talking about everything and nothing. Sarah showed him her baking videos on YouTube. Amateur stuff, she said, just a hobby. But Marcus watched her demonstrate how to make a 3-layer chocolate cake and saw the way her whole face lit up. This wasn't just a hobby. This was passion. You're really talented, he said. It's just baking. It's art. You're creating something beautiful out of basic ingredients. That's art. My family never saw it that way. They thought it was a waste of time. Another excuse to be around food. Your family was wrong. Sarah's phone rang. Her sister again. This time she answered. Hey, Jenny. No, I'm okay. Yeah, he's here. She looked at Marcus. My sister wants to know if you're real or if I hired an actor. Tell her I'm very real and very broke, so definitely not an actor. Sarah laughed. He says he's real. Jenny, I need to ask you something. Why didn't you ever stand up for me? When Mom was on my case about my weight, why didn't you say something? Marcus couldn't hear Jenny's response, but he watched Sarah's face carefully. I don't buy that. You weren't a kid. You were an adult with your own voice. You could have said something. Sarah listened, her jaw tight. Okay, I hear you. But Jenny's silence is complicity. When you said nothing, you agreed with her. Do you understand that? More conversation. Sarah's expression softened slightly. I appreciate that. I do. But words are cheap. I need to see change. Real change. Can you do that? Sarah nodded at whatever Jenny said. Okay. Come to dinner Saturday. Bring Rob and the kids. We'll talk then. She hung up and let out a long breath. My sister's coming over this weekend with her family. That's good, right? I think so. She apologized. Said she didn't realize I needed defending because I always seemed so strong. Like strength means you don't need support. Families are complicated. That's putting it mildly. Sarah curled up against him. Is your family complicated? My mom's overbearing but well-meaning. My sister Julie is great but lives in Seattle, so I don't see her much. My dad died when I was 19. Heart attack. No warning. I'm so sorry. It's been almost 20 years, but I still think about him. Wonder what he'd say about my life, if he'd be proud of the dad I've become. He would be. Anyone can see that. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Because your daughter is happy and loved and secure. That doesn't happen by accident. Marcus kissed the top of Sarah's head. They sat there in comfortable silence, the cats purring around them. For the first time in days, Marcus felt the chaos quiet. This was what he wanted. Not the viral fame or the interviews. Just this. Sitting with someone who understood him, who didn't need him to be anything other than himself. Around 7, Marcus called his mom to check on Emma. She was fine, Carol reported, but asking when Sarah would visit again. Tell her soon, Marcus said. You're at her apartment. Yeah. Marcus Chen, are you sleeping over? Mom, I'm 38 years old. I don't need to explain my dating life to you. You do when your daughter is asking if Sarah's her new mommy. Marcus's stomach dropped. She said that, in so many words. Marcus, you need to be careful. Emma's already planning their future together. I know, I'll talk to her. Tomorrow. Tonight you focus on yourself. You deserve happiness too. After he hung up, Sarah was watching him with concern. Everything okay? Emma's asking if you're going to be her new mom. Oh God. Yeah, I need to talk to her. Set some boundaries. This is moving fast for all of us. Should I back off? Give you space to figure things out with her? No, but maybe we should have a conversation about expectations, about what this is and where it's going. Sarah sat up straight, suddenly looking nervous. Okay, you go first. I like you, a lot. I can see this becoming something serious, but I have a daughter who comes first always. If at any point you decide this is too much, too complicated, I need you to tell me. Don't stay because you feel obligated. I wouldn't do that. I'm not saying you would. I'm saying I need you to be honest with me. About everything. Okay, my turn. Sarah took a deep breath. I've never done this before. I've never been in a real relationship. I've dated, but nothing ever stuck. So I'm going to mess up. I'm going to be insecure and need reassurance, and probably over-communicate because I'm terrified of assuming things. That's not messing up. That's being human. I'm also going to need time. Time to adjust to being visible. Time to process my family stuff. Time to figure out who I am when I'm not hiding. Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere. Promise. Promise. They ordered Chinese food and watched a movie neither of them paid attention to. Around 11, Marcus reluctantly said he should go home. Sarah walked him to the door. Thank you for today, she said, for being here when my mom called, for not making me face that alone. That's what partners do. We show up for each other. Partners. I like that word. Me too. Marcus drove home through empty streets, his mind replaying the day. The interview, Catherine's call, Sarah's tears, the quiet moments on her couch. It all felt surreal and perfect and terrifying. At home, he found his mother asleep on the couch, a book open on her chest. He covered her with a blanket and checked on Emma. She was sprawled across her bed, one arm hanging off the edge, snoring softly. Marcus tucked her arm back under the covers and kissed her forehead. I love you, pumpkin, he whispered, more than anything in the world. In his room, he found a text from Sarah. Today was hard, but good. Thank you for being you. Sweet dreams. He replied, Sweet dreams to you too. See you tomorrow at 7 for coffee with Brad. Still can't believe I agreed to that. We can cancel if you want. No, I need to do this. Need to look him in the eye and let him see he didn't break me. He never stood a chance. Marcus set his alarm and lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow would be another test. Another chance for things to go wrong. But tonight, right now, everything felt right. He fell asleep thinking about Sarah's smile and Emma's laugh, and the possibility that maybe, just maybe, his life was finally coming together. Morning arrived too quickly. Marcus woke at 6, showered, and made breakfast for Emma. She came downstairs in her school uniform, her hair unbrushed. Can Sarah do my hair? She asked. Sarah's not here, honey. But she's good at braids. You're terrible at braids. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Come here, I'll do my best. Marcus fumbled through a French braid that ended up lopsided but functional. Emma studied herself in the mirror. It's not great, but it'll work. Where are you going so early? Meeting someone for coffee. Is it Sarah? Sarah will be there, yes. Can I come? Not this time, it's adult stuff. That's what you always say when it's boring. It's definitely not boring, but it's also not appropriate for 10-year-olds. Emma sighed dramatically. Fine, but tell Sarah I said hi, and that I miss her. You saw her yesterday, so I can still miss her. Carol arrived to take Emma to school. Marcus grabbed his keys and headed to the coffee shop on Clark Street. Sarah was already there, sitting in a corner booth, looking nervous. You okay? He asked, sliding in beside her. No, but I'm here. Brad showed up 10 minutes late, looking like he hadn't slept. His eyes were bloodshot, and his usually perfect hair was messy. He stopped short when he saw Sarah. I didn't know you'd be here. Where else would I be? Sarah's voice was steady but cold. I guess that makes sense. Brad slid into the booth across from them. Thank you both for meeting me. I know I don't deserve your time. You're right, you don't. Marcus's voice was flat. So make this count, Brad. What do you want? To apologize, to explain, to make this right somehow. You can't make it right, Sarah said. What you did was cruel and deliberate. You knew it would hurt me, that was the point. I know, and I'm so sorry. Sarah, I've been an asshole to you for years, making jokes behind your back, excluding you from lunch invitations, acting like you were invisible. Why? Sarah leaned forward. What did I ever do to you? Brad looked down at his hands. Nothing. You did nothing. That's what makes it so pathetic. That's not an answer. The truth is I was jealous. You're brilliant at your job. Everyone knows it. You catch errors no one else sees. You're the person they call when something's really broken. And I'm just mediocre. I do okay, but I'll never be as good as you. So you decided to make fun of my weight. It was the only thing I could attack, the only way I could feel superior. Brad's voice cracked. I'm not saying it was right. It was despicable. But that's the truth. Marcus wanted to punch him, wanted to drag him outside and finish what he'd started at the restaurant. But Sarah put a hand on his arm, keeping him still. You're pathetic, she said to Brad. You know that? You're so insecure about your own inadequacies that you had to tear me down to feel better about yourself. I know. And Derek? Was he jealous too? Derek's just an asshole. No deep reason. He thinks cruelty is funny. Where is he? Why isn't he here apologizing? He doesn't think he did anything wrong. He thinks we're all being too sensitive. Brad looked up, meeting Sarah's eyes for the first time. I'm done with him. I told him that. I told him what we did was wrong, and I wouldn't be part of it anymore. And he didn't care. He laughed, said I was being whipped by the woke mob. Marcus shook his head. Some people never learn. I'm trying to learn, Brad said. I've been in therapy since Saturday, talking about why I treat people the way I do. It's not an excuse, but I'm trying to understand myself better. Good for you, Sarah said without warmth. But therapy doesn't erase what you did. It doesn't give me back the years I spent feeling worthless because of people like you. I know, I can't fix that. I can only promise to do better going forward. Promises are easy. Actions matter. What do you want from me? Tell me. I'll do anything. Sarah thought for a long moment. I want you to speak up. The next time you see someone being bullied or excluded or treated as less than, I want you to say something. Use whatever privilege you have to protect people who can't protect themselves. Can you do that? Yes, I can do that. Then we're done here. Sarah stood up. Marcus followed. Brad stayed seated. Sarah, for what it's worth, Marcus was right. You do have kind eyes, and you deserve someone who sees that. Sarah didn't respond. She walked out of the coffee shop with Marcus right behind her. On the sidewalk, she stopped and took several deep breaths. How do you feel? Marcus asked. Angry? Sad? Vindicated, maybe? I don't know. You were amazing in there. Strong and clear, and you didn't let him off easy. He's still pathetic. Therapy or not. Completely pathetic, but at least he's trying. Yeah, at least there's that. They walked to where their cars were parked. Sarah turned to Marcus, her expression softening. Thank you for being there. I couldn't have done that alone. Yes, you could have, but I'm glad you didn't have to. Sarah kissed him right there on the street. When she pulled back, she was smiling. I have to get to work. Spreadsheets wait for no woman. Dinner tonight, my place. Emma would love to see you. I'd like that. Marcus watched her drive away, then headed to his own job. The office was buzzing when he arrived. People stopped him in the hallway to congratulate him on the interview, to tell him how brave he was, to ask about Sarah. Richard called him into his office first thing. The Anderson Cooper interview hit 15 million views overnight. 15 million, Marcus. The company's social media following has tripled. We're getting interest from clients who'd never heard of us before. That's great, Richard. It is great, which is why the board wants to promote you. Head of Community Outreach. You'd be the face of the company. Speaking engagements, charity events, the works. Marcus sat down heavily. I don't want that. What? I'm a logistics coordinator. I like my job. I don't want to be a public figure. Marcus, this is a huge opportunity. For someone else, not for me. I have a daughter to raise and a life to live. I can't do that if I am constantly traveling and giving speeches. Richard leaned back in his chair. You're turning down a promotion. I'm asking to go back to normal. Please, Richard. I appreciate everything, but I just want my regular life back. The board won't be happy. The board can deal with it. I'm not for sale. Marcus left Richard's office feeling lighter than he had in days. He was done being a symbol. Done being everyone's inspiration. He just wanted to be Marcus again. Single dad, boyfriend. Regular guy trying his best. His phone buzzed. A text from Emma's school. Emma got into a fight on the playground. Please come pick her up. Marcus's heart sank. He grabbed his keys and drove to Emma's school, his mind racing. Emma had never been in a fight. Never even gotten detention. What happened? At the school, the principal was waiting with Emma in her office. Emma's cheek was red and she was crying. Marcus knelt in front of her immediately. Baby, what happened? Are you hurt? I'm okay, Daddy, but I had to hit him. Hit who? The principal cleared her throat. Emma punched Timothy Richardson in the nose. She says he was saying inappropriate things about you and your girlfriend. Marcus looked at Emma. What kind of things? He said you only like Sarah because you feel sorry for her. He said fat girls should be grateful when men pay attention to them. He said his dad said so. Marcus's blood boiled. And you punched him. I told him to stop first. I told him 3 times. But he kept going. So I punched him. Just like you punched that table at the restaurant. Emma's chin lifted defiantly. You said to stand up to bullies, Daddy, so I did. Marcus looked at the principal. She was trying not to smile. Mr. Chen, I understand Emma was defending you, but we have a zero-tolerance policy for violence. She'll need to serve detention this week. That's fair. Emma apologized to Mrs. Henderson. I'm sorry for punching Timothy. Are you sorry for what you said? The principal pressed. No, he deserved it. Emma? Okay, fine. I'm sorry for using violence instead of words. Is that better? The principal nodded. Much better. You're dismissed. Report to detention tomorrow after school. In the car, Emma was quiet. Marcus didn't know whether to lecture her or hug her. He settled for something in between. I'm proud of you for defending Sarah. But baby, you can't hit people, no matter what they say. But you got so mad at those men. You slammed your hand on their table. I did, and I shouldn't have. I should have used my words calmly. Violence is never the answer. But it felt good, didn't it, when you did it? Marcus couldn't lie. Yeah, it did. Then maybe sometimes violence is the answer. Emma, that's not the lesson I want you to learn from this. Too late. I already learned it. Marcus sighed. This was going to be a long conversation. But looking at his daughter's red cheek and defiant expression, he couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. She'd stood up for what mattered, just like he'd taught her. Maybe he was doing something right after all. They stopped for ice cream on the way home, Marcus's traditional remedy for hard days. Emma got chocolate chip with sprinkles and ate it slowly, her feet swinging under the table. Are you going to tell Sarah I got in a fight? She asked between bites. Yes, we don't keep secrets. Will she think I'm bad? No, baby. She'll think you're brave. Maybe a little misguided, but brave. What's misguided mean? It means you had the right idea, but the wrong execution. Emma thought about this. So standing up for people is good, but punching is bad. Exactly. That's confusing. Welcome to being human. It's all confusing. Emma finished her ice cream and wiped her mouth with a napkin. Daddy, are you going to marry Sarah? Marcus nearly choked on his coffee. Where did that come from? I heard Grandma talking to Aunt Julie on the phone. She said you were serious about Sarah. That means marriage, right? Sometimes. But Emma, Sarah and I just started dating. Marriage is a long way off. But you like her a lot. I do, very much. And she likes you. I think so. And she likes me. She definitely likes you. Then why wait? If you all like each other, you should just get married and be a family. Marcus reached across the table and took Emma's sticky hand. Because big decisions take time, sweetheart. Sarah and I need to make sure we're right for each other. That we can handle the hard stuff, not just the fun stuff. What hard stuff? Life stuff. Bills and schedules and disagreements about important things. Making sure we want the same future. Do you want the same future? I don't know yet. That's what dating is for. Figuring that out. Emma pulled her hand back and crossed her arms. I think you're overthinking it. You like each other. She makes you happy. That should be enough. When did you become a relationship expert? I'm 10. I know things. Marcus laughed, despite the knot of anxiety in his stomach. Emma made it sound so simple. Maybe it should be. But Marcus had been burned before. He'd rushed into marriage with Christina and look how that ended. He couldn't make the same mistake twice, especially not with Emma's heart on the line. They drove home to find Sarah's car already in the driveway. She was sitting on the front steps, holding a bakery box. I got here early, she said as they approached. Hope that's okay. I brought dessert. Emma ran to her, throwing her arms around Sarah's waist. I missed you. I missed you too. What happened to your cheek? Emma touched her face, suddenly self-conscious. I got in a fight, but it was for a good reason. Want to tell me about it? They went inside, and Emma recounted the whole story, while Sarah listened with complete attention. When Emma got to the part about punching Timothy, Sarah's expression was complicated. That must have felt scary, Sarah said. Standing up to someone like that. It was scary, but also kind of good. Is that weird? Not weird. Sometimes standing up for what's right feels good, even when it's scary. But Emma, your dad's right. Violence should always be the last resort. That's what everyone keeps saying. But nobody tells you what to do when words don't work. You walk away. You tell an adult. You remove yourself from the situation. But then the bully wins. Sarah knelt down to Emma's level. No, baby. The bully only wins if they make you become like them. If they turn you into someone who solves problems with fists instead of wisdom. You're smarter than that. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I just wanted to protect you. And Daddy. Timothy was being so mean. And I love that you wanted to protect us. That shows what a good heart you have. But you know what would protect us even more. You growing up to be the kind of person who changes minds with words, who shows people there's a better way. Can you try that? I guess so. Good. Now come help me set the table. Your dad's making spaghetti, and I brought a chocolate cake that needs proper presentation. Emma's face lit up. You made a cake. 4 layers with ganache filling. I might have gone overboard. There's no such thing as overboard with cake. They cooked dinner together, the 3 of them moving around Marcus's small kitchen, like they'd been doing it for years instead of days. Emma chattered about school and her upcoming dance recital. Sarah asked questions and laughed at Emma's jokes. Marcus watched them and felt something settle in his chest. This was what family was supposed to feel like. After dinner, Emma showed Sarah her room again, this time pulling out every craft project she'd done in the past year. Sarah admired each one, genuinely asking about techniques and inspiration. They were still up there when Marcus's phone rang. It was Derek. Marcus almost didn't answer, but curiosity won out. What do you want? I'm outside your house. Can we talk? Marcus looked out the window. Sure enough, Derek's car was parked across the street. How do you know where I live? Employee directory. Look, I know you don't want to see me, but I need 5 minutes, please. Sarah's here. If she's uncomfortable, you leave immediately. Understood. Marcus went upstairs. Sarah and Emma were looking at a book of cake designs. Derek's outside, he said. He wants to talk. Sarah's face went hard. No. I told him if you're uncomfortable, he leaves. But maybe we should hear what he has to say. Why? So he can make excuses, pretend he's sorry when we both know he's not. Emma looked between them, confused. Who's Derek? One of the men from the restaurant. Sarah said quietly. The ones who were mean to me. The bullies. Emma's eyes went wide. He's here. Just outside. We don't have to let him in. But Emma was already heading downstairs. Marcus and Sarah hurried after her. Emma flung open the front door before Marcus could stop her. Derek stood on the porch looking sheepish. Hi, I'm Emma, she announced. You're the man who was mean to Sarah. Derek blinked. Yes, I was. Why? Emma, that's not... Marcus started. No, it's a fair question. Derek looked at Emma directly. I was mean because I thought it was funny. I thought making fun of someone would make me seem cool to my friends. That's dumb. Being mean doesn't make you cool. It makes you a bully. You're absolutely right. And now you want to apologize. Because my dad made you famous for being a jerk and you're embarrassed. Derek actually smiled, though it was sad. You're a smart kid. Yeah, partly that. But also because I've had a lot of time to think about what I did. And I realized I've been a terrible person for a long time. To Sarah and to a lot of other people. So say sorry. I'm trying to, if they'll let me. Emma turned to Sarah. Do you want to hear his apology? Sarah looked at Marcus. He shrugged. It was her decision. 5 minutes, Sarah said. In the living room where I can see the door. They sat down, Emma positioning herself between Sarah and Derek like a tiny bodyguard. Derek cleared his throat. Sarah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for setting you up, for making you feel worthless, for treating you like you were less than human. There's no excuse for what I did. It was cruel and calculated, and I knew exactly how much it would hurt you. Why didn't that stop you? Sarah's voice was controlled, but Marcus could hear the pain underneath. Because I'm a coward. Because it was easier to tear you down than to deal with my own insecurities. Because I've spent my whole life using humor as a weapon, and I never stopped to think about the casualties. Casualties, Sarah repeated. That's what I was to you. Collateral damage in your comedy routine. Yes. And I'm so deeply sorry for that. Sorry doesn't fix it, Derek. Sorry doesn't give me back the confidence you destroyed. Sorry doesn't erase the years of therapy I'll probably need to undo the damage people like you have done. I know. But it's all I have to offer. That and a promise to do better. Emma spoke up. My daddy says promises are easy. Actions are hard. What actions are you going to take? Derek looked at the 10-year-old with something like respect. I've quit my job. I can't work somewhere that I hurt someone so badly. I'm starting therapy. I'm volunteering with an anti-bullying organization. I'm trying to become someone my kids won't be ashamed of. You have kids? Sarah's voice sharpened. A son and a daughter, 8 and 6. They saw the video. My son asked me why I was being so mean to that nice lady. I didn't have an answer that didn't make me sound like a monster. You should have thought about that before you did it. You're right. I should have. But I didn't. And now I'm trying to make amends any way I can. Sarah stood up. I appreciate you coming here. I appreciate the apology. But Derek, I can't forgive you. Not yet. Maybe not ever. What you did hurt too much and went too deep. I understand. But I hope you change. I hope you become the person your kids deserve. I hope you learn that other people's pain isn't entertainment. I'm trying every day. Good. Now please leave. Derek stood. He looked at Marcus. I know you hate me. You should. But thank you for letting me say my piece. I don't hate you, Marcus said. I pity you. It must be exhausting being that insecure. Derek flinched but nodded. It is, but I'm working on it. Emma walked him to the door. Before he left, she looked up at him seriously. Mr. Derek, I punched a boy today for saying mean things about Sarah. I got detention. My dad says violence is wrong, but sometimes I think maybe it isn't. Maybe sometimes people need to get punched so they understand words aren't just air. They're weapons, and weapons hurt people. Derek knelt down. You're right. And I'm sorry you had to learn that because of what I did. I'm sorry my actions hurt not just Sarah, but you too. I don't forgive you either, but I hope your kids teach you to be better. Me too, kid. Me too. After Derek left, the three of them sat in silence for a moment. Then Emma climbed into Sarah's lap and hugged her. Are you okay? Emma asked. I will be. Thank you for being my bodyguard. That's what friends do. We protect each other. Marcus felt tears sting his eyes. His daughter. His fierce, brave, beautiful daughter who understood more about love and loyalty than most adults. How about that cake? He suggested, voice thick. They ate chocolate cake in the living room, sitting on the floor around the coffee table. Emma got frosting on her nose. Sarah laughed. Marcus took a mental picture, wanting to remember this moment forever. Around 9, Emma fell asleep on the couch, her head on Sarah's lap. Sarah stroked her hair gently. She's special, Sarah whispered. She is. Takes after her dad. Modest too. One of my best qualities. Marcus carried Emma to bed. She stirred as he tucked her in. Is Sarah staying? She mumbled. Not tonight, baby. She has to go home. But I want her to stay forever. I know. Me too. Get some sleep. Love you, Daddy. Love you more, Pumpkin. Downstairs, Sarah was cleaning up the kitchen. Marcus wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. You were amazing tonight, with Emma, with Derek, with all of it. I'm exhausted. Want to skip Saturday with your family? We can reschedule. No, I need to face them. Need to tell them how I feel, otherwise nothing changes. I'll be there if you want me. I definitely want you there. You're good at the hard conversations. Lots of practice with a precocious 10-year-old. Sarah turned in his arms. Marcus, I need to tell you something. His stomach dropped. Those words never led anywhere good. Okay. I'm falling in love with you. I know it's too soon. I know we've only known each other a week. But I can't help it. You and Emma, you've become my family. And that terrifies me because I've never had this before. I don't know how to do it. Marcus cupped her face. Sarah, I'm falling in love with you too. Have been since that first night when you decided to stay instead of run. When you chose to believe I was genuine even though everything told you not to trust me. Really? Really. And you're right, it's terrifying. It's too fast and too intense, and I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. But I don't want to live in fear anymore. I want to take this chance. They kissed, deep and desperate. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Sarah was crying. Happy tears, she assured him. Very happy tears. Good. Because I've seen enough sad tears from you to last a lifetime. Sarah left around 10, promising to text when she got home. Marcus cleaned up the rest of the kitchen and checked his phone. 17 new emails, 6 voicemails, a text from his sister demanding details about Sarah. Another text from Richard saying they needed to talk about his decision to refuse the promotion. Marcus deleted it all. He was done being public property. Done having his life dissected by strangers. Tomorrow he'd deal with work and family, and all the complications of normal life. Tonight, he just wanted to sit in the quiet and think about how lucky he was. His phone buzzed. Sarah. Home safe. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for Emma. Thank you for being you. He replied, thank you for choosing us. Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams to you too. See you Saturday. Wouldn't miss it. Marcus went to bed feeling content for the first time in years. But at 3 in the morning, he woke to Emma screaming. He ran to her room. She was sitting up in bed sobbing, her face flushed and scared. Baby, what's wrong? I had a nightmare. You and Sarah left, just like Mom. You said you were going to the store, but you never came back. Marcus climbed into bed with her, pulling her close. That's not going to happen. I promise you, Emma, I'm never leaving you. But Mom promised too. The words cut deep because they were true. Christina had made promises she didn't keep. How could Marcus convince Emma his promises were different? Your mom left because she was sick, baby. Not physically sick, but mentally. She had demons she couldn't fight, and instead of getting help, she ran away. That wasn't your fault and it wasn't mine. It was her choice. But what if Sarah makes the same choice? Sarah's different. She's strong and brave, and she shows up even when things are hard. That's what love is, not running when it gets difficult. How do you know she won't run? I don't, not for certain. But Emma, we can't live our lives afraid of what might happen. We have to take chances on people. Otherwise, we end up alone. Emma sniffled. I don't want to be alone. You'll never be alone. You have me. You have Grandma and Aunt Julie. You have friends. And hopefully you'll have Sarah too. But even if you don't, you're loved. So loved. Do you understand? I think so. Good. Now try to go back to sleep. Can you stay with me? Of course. Marcus lay in Emma's small bed, her body curled against his, and thought about Christina. About how her leaving had wounded Emma in ways he was still discovering. About how every new person in their lives represented risk. About how loving anyone meant accepting the possibility of loss. But the alternative was worse. The alternative was walls and loneliness, and never letting anyone in. Marcus had lived that way for 6 years, and it nearly destroyed him. He wouldn't do that to Emma. Wouldn't teach her that safety meant isolation. So they'd take the risk. They'd love Sarah and hope she stayed. And if she didn't, they'd survive. They always did. Saturday arrived with rain. Marcus picked up Sarah at noon, both of them dressed for battle. Sarah wore a blue dress that made her eyes brighter. Marcus wore the nice shirt Emma had helped him pick out. How are you feeling? He asked as they drove to Sarah's sister's house. Nauseous, terrified, ready to get this over with. We can still cancel. No, I need to do this. Jenny lived in a suburb 40 minutes away. Big house, manicured lawn, 2 cars in the driveway. The American dream. Sarah stared at it through the windshield. She has everything I was supposed to want, she said quietly. Husband, kids, nice house. And I used to be so jealous. But now I look at it, and I just feel sad. Sad that this was considered success, and anything else was failure. Success is being happy, however that looks for you. I'm learning that. They walked to the door together. Jenny answered immediately, pulling Sarah into a hug. You came. I wasn't sure you would. I said I would. I know. But after everything I thought maybe... Jenny stopped noticing Marcus. You must be Marcus. I've heard so much about you. All terrible, I hope. Jenny laughed. Actually, all wonderful. Come in, please. The house was chaos. 2 kids running around, Jenny's husband Rob cooking something that smelled amazing, toys everywhere. Normal family chaos. Sarah tensed beside Marcus. It's a mess. Jenny apologized. We weren't expecting... It's fine. Sarah interrupted. Jenny, this is Marcus. Marcus, my sister Jenny. They shook hands. Rob emerged from the kitchen, introduced himself, herded the kids into the playroom. Suddenly, it was just the 3 of them in the living room. Mom's not here, Jenny said. I thought we should talk first. Just us. Okay. Sarah sat on the couch. Marcus sat beside her, taking her hand. Jenny sat across from them. Sarah, I've been a terrible sister. I watched Mom tear you down for years, and I said nothing. I told myself it wasn't my business, that you seemed strong enough to handle it. But I was wrong. I was a coward. Why are you telling me this now? Why not 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Because I didn't see it. I didn't understand how much you were hurting until I watched that video. When you said you'd spent your whole life believing you weren't worth anyone's time, it broke something in me. Because I contributed to that. I made you feel invisible. Sarah's grip on Marcus's hand tightened. Do you know what it's like being the fat sister? Every family gathering, people would congratulate you on your kids, your career, your life. Then they'd turn to me and ask if I was still working in accounting. Like that was all I was worth. And you never once defended me. Never once said, "Hey, Sarah's accomplished too. Sarah matters too." I know, and I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't change the past, Jenny. Sorry doesn't give me back my 20s when I avoided family events because I couldn't stand the judgment. Sorry doesn't fix anything. Then what can I do? Tell me. I'll do whatever it takes. Sarah stood up, pacing. Marcus wanted to comfort her, but knew she needed to work through this herself. I don't know what you can do. I don't know if this is fixable. I love you, Jenny. You're my sister. But I don't trust you. How can I trust you when you've failed me so many times? Jenny was crying now. You can't. Not yet. But maybe over time I can earn it back. If you let me try. And Mom, what about her? She wants to see you. She's devastated by what the interview revealed. She had no idea how much damage she'd done. How is that possible? How could she not know? Because we're good at hiding pain in this family. We smile and pretend and never say what we really feel. You learned that from us, Sarah. You learned to be invisible because that's what we taught you. Sarah sank back onto the couch. Marcus put his arm around her. I can't do this anymore, Sarah said. I can't keep pretending to be okay when I'm not. I can't keep accepting crumbs and calling it love. Then don't, Jenny said. Tell us what you need, really need, and we'll try to give it to you. I need you to see me, not as the fat sister or the single one or the disappointment, just as Sarah, just as a whole person who has value beyond her appearance or relationship status. We can do that. I can do that. And I need Mom to stop with the diet talk. Stop with the helpful suggestions about exercise. Stop treating my body like it's a problem to solve. I'll talk to her. I'll make her understand. Will you? Because Jenny, you've said you'll talk to her before, about other things, and nothing ever changed. Jenny stood up, walked to the window. You're right. I've been all talk and no action. But Sarah, I'm different now. Seeing you on TV, seeing how much pain you've been carrying, it changed something in me. I don't want to be the person who lets her sister suffer in silence anymore. Prove it then. Prove you're serious. How? Come to therapy with me. Family therapy. You, me, and Mom. Let's actually work through this instead of just saying sorry and moving on. Jenny turned around. Okay, yes. When? I'll find a therapist and set it up. But Jenny, if you agree to this, you have to show up. You have to be honest, even when it's uncomfortable. Can you do that? I can. I will. Rob appeared in the doorway. Dinner's ready if anyone's hungry. They ate together, the five of them. Jenny's kids were loud and messy and wonderful. Marcus watched Sarah with them, saw her relax slowly. By dessert, she was laughing at the 6-year-old's knock-knock jokes. After dinner, Sarah and Jenny went outside to talk privately. Marcus stayed with Rob and the kids, helping clean up. She's been through hell, Rob said, loading the dishwasher. Sarah, I mean. Jenny's told me stories over the years about how their mom treated her. It made me sick. Why didn't you say something? Not my family, not my place, but I should have. I see that now. Better late than never. Is it though? Sometimes I think we wait too long to do the right thing, and by the time we act, the damage is done. Maybe, but healing is possible, if everyone's willing to do the work. Outside, Sarah and Jenny were sitting on the porch steps. Marcus could see them through the window heads together, talking intently. He hoped they were making progress. Hoped this wasn't just another false start. An hour later, Sarah came back inside. Her eyes were red, but she was smiling. Ready to go? Marcus asked. Yeah, I think so. They said goodbye to Jenny's family. At the door, Jenny hugged Sarah tight. I love you. I know I haven't shown it well, but I do. And I'm going to do better. I'm going to hold you to that. Please do. In the car, Sarah was quiet for a long time. Marcus let her be, just drove through the rain. She meant it. Sarah finally said. I think she really meant it this time. That's good. I'm meeting my mom next week, Thursday at 6. Will you come with me? If you want me there, I'll be there. I want you there. I need you there. Then I'm there. They drove back to the city. Sarah asked Marcus to come up to her apartment. Inside, she collapsed on the couch, exhausted. Today was a lot, she said. You were incredible, standing up for yourself like that, asking for what you need. I learned from the best. She pulled him down beside her. Marcus, I want to talk about us. About where this is going. Okay. I love you. I know I said it before, but I need to say it again. I love you, and I love Emma, and I want to build something real with you. Something that lasts. Marcus's heart swelled. I love you too. So much it scares me. But I'm terrified of messing this up, of moving too fast and crashing, of hurting Emma if this doesn't work. So we go slow, we communicate, we check in with each other and with Emma. We don't let fear drive us, but we also don't ignore it. You make it sound simple. It's not simple. It's hard and complicated, and we'll probably screw up a lot. But Marcus, I think we're worth the effort, don't you? Yes. Absolutely yes. They kissed soft and slow. When they pulled apart, Sarah was smiling. Move in with me. Marcus blinked. What? Move in with me, you and Emma. My apartment's bigger than yours. Emma could have her own room. We could be a real family. Sarah, that's huge. That's too much too soon. Maybe, I don't know. I need to think about Emma. About what's best for her. Of course, I shouldn't have sprung it on you like that. Forget I said anything. I'm not saying no. I'm saying I need time. Need to talk to Emma. Need to make sure this is right for all of us. That's fair. Take all the time you need. Marcus stayed at Sarah's apartment until midnight, talking about futures and possibilities, and all the ways their lives might intertwine. When he finally left, his head was spinning, moving in together. Becoming a family. It was everything he wanted, and everything that terrified him. At home, he found his mother asleep on the couch again. Emma was in bed, snoring softly. Marcus stood in her doorway, watching her sleep, thinking about how his choices affected her life. Moving in with Sarah would change everything. Emma would have to change schools, leave her friends, adjust to a new home. But she'd also have Sarah full-time, have a maternal figure who genuinely cared about her, have the family she'd been asking for. Was that worth the risk? Marcus didn't know. But he knew he had to decide soon, because Sarah deserved an answer. Emma deserved stability, and he deserved a chance at happiness. He just hoped he was brave enough to take it. The next morning, Marcus made pancakes. Emma came downstairs still in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Good morning, Pumpkin. Sleep okay? Mostly. I dreamed about Sarah again. Good dream or bad dream? Good. We were baking a cake together, a really big one with like 100 layers. Marcus flipped a pancake. Emma, I need to ask you something important. Okay. How would you feel about Sarah living with us or us living with her? Emma's eyes went wide. Really? For real? Maybe. Nothing's decided yet. But I want to know how you feel about it. I think it would be amazing. We could see her every day. She could do my hair before school. We could bake together all the time. But you'd have to change schools, leave Madison and your other friends. Emma's face fell. Oh, I didn't think about that. It's a big decision, baby. I need you to really think about it. Not just about the fun stuff, but about the hard stuff too. Can I still see my friends? Of course. We'd visit, have sleepovers, but it wouldn't be the same as seeing them every day. Emma climbed onto a stool at the counter. Would Sarah be my mom? No. You have a mom even if she's not here. Sarah would be Sarah. Someone who loves you and helps take care of you but doesn't replace your mom. I don't remember my mom. Is that bad? Marcus's throat tightened. No, baby. It's not bad. You were so little when she left. But I remember Sarah. I remember everything about her. Does that mean she's more real to me than Mom? I think it means Sarah is present in your life and your mom isn't. That's not your fault. It's just the way things are. Emma was quiet for a moment. I want Sarah to live with us, even if it means changing schools, because Daddy, I think she makes us better. We're happier when she's here. We are, aren't we? Yeah. So let's ask her to be part of our family. For real. Forever. Marcus hugged his daughter, this wise old soul in a 10-year-old body. Okay. But Emma, if we do this, we have to work as a team. All three of us. That means communicating when something's wrong. Being honest about our feelings. Can you do that? I can try. That's all any of us can do. They finished breakfast and Marcus called Sarah. She answered on the first ring. Hi, is everything okay? Everything's great. I talked to Emma about moving in together. And she's all in, enthusiastically in. Sarah's voice broke. Really? Really? So if the offer's still open, we'd like to take you up on it. The offer's definitely still open. Marcus, are you sure? I don't want you to feel pressured. I'm sure. We're sure. Let's do this. Let's be a family. Sarah was crying now, happy tears that made Marcus's chest tight. Let's talk logistics tonight, figure out timing and schools and all the practical stuff. But Sarah, I love you. We both do. And I can't wait to build this life with you. I love you too. Both of you. So much. After they hung up, Emma was jumping up and down. We're going to live with Sarah. We're going to be a real family. We're already a real family, baby. This just makes it official. They spent the day packing, sorting through their belongings, deciding what to keep and what to donate. Emma carefully wrapped her stuffed animals, each one precious. Marcus boxed up books and clothes and tried not to think about how fast his life was changing. Carol came over in the afternoon to help. She watched Marcus pack with knowing eyes. You're really doing this? I am. We are. It's fast, Marcus. I know. But Mom, I spent 6 years being careful, being scared, and it got me nowhere. Maybe it's time to take a leap. Just make sure you're leaping towards something, not running away from loneliness. I'm not running. I'm choosing. There's a difference. Carol hugged him. Then I'm happy for you. For all of you. You deserve this. That night, Sarah came over with takeout and they planned. Emma would finish the school year at her current school, then transfer in the fall. They'd move in phases, starting with weekends, then full-time over the summer. They'd split bills fairly and create a budget together. They'd establish house rules and routines that worked for everyone. It was practical and boring and absolutely necessary. And through it all, Emma kept interrupting with excitement about her new room, her new neighborhood, all the ways their lives would change. Around 9. After Emma went to bed, Marcus and Sarah sat on the couch together. This is really happening, Sarah said. Are you having second thoughts? Terrified thoughts, but not second thoughts. You? Same. But Sarah, I think this is right. I think we're right. Me too. They sat in comfortable silence, planning their future without words. Outside, the city hummed with life. Inside, Marcus felt peace settle over him like a blanket. His phone buzzed. A text from Christina. He hadn't heard from her in 6 months. I saw you on TV. You look happy. I'm glad. Take care of our girl. She deserves better than what I gave her. Marcus showed Sarah the text. She read it and looked at him seriously. Are you okay? Yeah, for the first time in years I really am. Christina's right. Emma deserves better. And now she's getting it. We both are. We're going to screw up sometimes. You know that, right? I'm counting on it. Perfect families are boring. We're going to be messy and chaotic and real. Good. Because I don't know how to be anything else. Marcus kissed her deep and full of promise. When they pulled apart, both smiling, he knew they'd made the right choice. This was their beginning. Their real beginning. Not the viral video or the public spectacle, but this quiet moment of commitment. Two people who'd been hurt, choosing to love anyway. A little girl getting the family she deserved. A future full of possibilities instead of fear. It wouldn't be perfect. There would be hard days and disagreements and moments of doubt, but they'd face it together. And that made all the difference. "Welcome home," Marcus whispered. Sarah smiled. "I'm already there."